actually.
Yeah, but those potential draft, not so much problems, but potential draft differences. BTG are certainly getting a lot of their comfort picks, and this is not so much a comfort pick, but a comfort map for BTG here compared to BlossoM. Once again, BlossoM a little bit lower on the win rate on this 0-2. Volskaya Foundry is the map, whereas BTG, they are looking a little bit better, not by much, a 1-1. So only 2 maps played, still a very small sample size for both these teams, but this is where we saw the Alarak yesterday.
It's also a map where I feel we have to address Hammer again. This is another hero that, especially in the Korean realm, is played a lot here. And I'm a bit wondering if BTG is going to address that at some point and just ban it out. Now, from a map perspective, it's again a bigger map, but it's also one where you have a lot of team fighting around the objective that should play into the cards of a Chinese team. So if they play this a little bit slower, a little bit more safe, a little bit more thought through, then I think they have a chance here of bringing the fight to BlossoM.
Well, let's find out as we are heading into the draft for game number 2 between Beyond the Game and BlossoM. Let's see if that hammer comes into play, or if it even make it into the ban phase. This once again is very popular this tournament in that ban.
Yeah, honestly, it seems like the story of day 2 is an early hammer ban. I think almost every team has done it every single draft today. It seems like nobody really wants to deal with this Sergeant Hammer right now. And on most maps, you know, she's getting banned out. We did see them ban it the last map, but obviously BlossoM had shown it before on Battlefield. They'd already played the hammer once, whereas they haven't played hammer on Volskaya. So we can't be sure that BTG are going to have the same priority.
And it's Ulrich's fault.
Potentially so.
You know, she was fun in the first game. She was fun in the first week, then a little bit longer too, but right now, getting a little bit tired of her.
There's that Maiev ban. Even though they were able to win the game, that still very nearly became their undoing, so this time very happy to deny that away. And they're just going to leave some tanks open this time. Maybe actually pick something less ETC for BlossoM.
Yeah, I think you really have to respect LLK's Maiev after that first game. Looked very, very confident on it. Not afraid to jump into this, you know, Korean backline and just pull people to their deaths. So he looked very, very good on it, and I'm glad to see it getting banned away from him.
Genji, the immediate ban on the side of BTG, doesn't really come as a surprise here against the Korean team. It's like one of the more consistent bans that we've seen so far here. But BlossoM is actually a little bit slow with their second ban, not jumping towards anything immediately. We've seen them target the tank position very heavily in previous games.
That's behind an attack position.
They are actually ones banning out Hammer. I really expected that to be a thing on the side of BTG instead.
I would agree, because technically BlossoM, I mean, BlossoM are first pick actually, so if they were to first pick Hammer, it opens up for a Chromie opener or whatever else BTG feel like they can work with, which means that BlossoM might have actually given it over to BTG, as BTG would get the double pick. So instead, we see it banned out along with the Reyna, and Diablo is the opener for BlossoM.
Also, I can't help myself, but Hammer with their playstyle doesn't really fit into the Chinese meta.
They play a lot of Hammer.
It's just like, I can't believe that that would on the international stage hold up, because you can't run in with Hammer that consistently.
I mean, she literally has a booster that lets her get into the fight as fast as
Great.
a mounted
That's
hero.
that's like vaulting in with Vala.
Yeah, what could possibly go wrong? Or, as we saw literally in the last series, teleporting in with Phoenix.
Okay. Yeah, who am I to argue with that sound logic? Yeah. It's not an escape tool, it's an engage tool. My mistake.
Oh dear. And speaking of the Phoenix, it is locked in along with that Decade Cane. So we have those immediate slow empowerment and denying the Phoenix away from the classic Lightning Breath Salvo combo, as Li Ming once again stolen away from Beyond the Game.
So, be honest, Nitch, if you go into a draft and you see on the other side Diablo and a Urel, do you hate your life at that point, or...?
Yeah, I mean, it's already not fun. You know, we've obviously seen a lot of the heroes taking the armor of 4 in this tournament, and especially with the Diablo health pool. You know, we even saw it at the Western Clash with Leftovers playing this combo a lot. You know, you like to jump on the Diablo, and he just never dies, you know. The natural reaction is, you know, if you get the opportunity to catch a Diablo, he's going to start breathing. You try and kill him before the breath, but when he has 35 armor and 8,000 HP, that's not going to happen anytime soon.
And also when Diablo just pushes you around and you think you finally got a foothold in the game again, Urel jumps onto and pushes you away too. And you get just ping-pong from one side to another.
Oh dear. But for now, we wait to see what the ban from BlossoM will be. With Phoenix already on the board, they could potentially ban out the Muradin, as they already have the Diablo for themselves. Garrosh also a very acceptable option. If he is able to catch out, Li Ming could be good, and Urel very reliant on her abilities for her sustain. So if you're able to land that taunt, it's probably your best chance at killing a Urel.
Yeah, I think I much prefer the Garage Band on this style of map. Muradin isn't actually as good on Volskaya because he kind of struggles to take a sustained fight. Obviously, with his passive, you can back out, but you have to wait 10, 15 seconds to get that health back. They are still going to take it, but I do think it struggles a little more compared to the sustain that a Garage would normally have while holding down those control points.
Thrall, on the other hand, I feel was absolutely to be expected from a Chinese team. You want to have some synergy with Phoenix, and that's something that we see a lot from them, and also in the past from other teams just running the Thrall here, usually with a third melee too.
The crowd getting quite riled up for this first series already.
I was wondering what they were shouting.
Series, sorry. I thought it sounded like Dignitas.
Yeah, me too.
Was on.
It sounded really much like Dignitas, and I'm just like, that's a little bit weird. I mean, yes, we have Snitch up here, but...
Might have been a hero name, as we see Stukov and Hanzo being finishing out the draft for BlossoM. So two very squishy backliners. You already have Thrall and Muradin, so the potential for another melee, something that can dive quite deep, is opened up here.
To be honest though, you know what I kind of see this lineup being a bit weak to? Alarak. If LLK wants to bring out the Alarak again, I honestly think this game looks pretty good for it.
He's likely the Thrall player is the issue, as we see the Zeratul locked in. This is likely going to be for Loktar. No, it looks like it's going to be LLK on the Zeratul and Loktar on the Thrall. Makes a little bit more sense. Thrall a little bit more ranged than Zeratul in terms of his damage dealing.
I'm terrified for BTG.
I mean, Diablo Yorel, you can't argue with that in general, so I can see why.
Also, resets are working really, really well for Li Ming players so far. With how kill heavy all of these games are that we've seen, you get a lot of value through that.
This is true. But overall, there is a reasonable amount of mobility. We have Dwarf Toss, Blinks, teleports. So on Deckard Kane, so he might be the one who is in the most danger. But once again, if he's not in the back, then something's going wrong.
Yeah, I mean, Caldo said he was asking for a thoughtful, slow, controlled game, and all I say here for BTG is a whole bunch of heroes to close, and I think we're going to get another bloody mess like we did yesterday. I think it was, you know, about 30 kills on yesterday's Volskaya featuring BTG, and it kind of looks like this game's going to be no different. So I think thoughtful and control have just gone out the window.
Yeah,
Yep, that's not surprising.
Looking at the draft, yeah, I would pretty much agree.
It's not surprising, but we, like said, we could potentially still see a fair amount of kills. We don't see that kind of wombo combo potential like we saw from some of the earlier series with the potential for VP, APOC or anything like that, but we do still have the VP. What could be a reasonable follow-up to it? I mean, we still have Salvo, of course, with some very reasonable slows behind it. Yeah, I mean, I think they don't really have the tools to kill Diablo this game, at least until they get the Blessing at level 13 with Deckard. So I think more likely we're going to see Void Prisons going on the front line, trying to isolate backliners, and then be able to dive while locking down the Irel and Diablo so they can't peel as effectively. All right, a fantastic breakdown by Snitch. Let's see if it comes to pass as we are heading in to game number 2 of our third series of the day between BlossoM and Beyond the Game.
Game on as we're heading into game number 2 in Volskaya Foundry. BlossoM going up against BTG in another Korea versus China match. And BlossoM is ahead. They're starting to the left side with Modern on Li Ming, Wiz on Urel, Meriday on Stukov, Gonda on Hanzo, and Hong Kono on Diablo.
And on the right, representing China, it is BTG with Healer Please on Deckard, Loktar on Thrall, very appropriate, 619 on Muradin, LLK on Zeratul, and Dancing is on that Phoenix. It makes me so happy that Loktar is on Thrall. It's just so thematic.
I guess it is.
As we open up, looking at the talents, Arsenal Synergy, Perfect Storm, everything looks pretty ordinary here, except for the Force Armor from Li Ming, not going for that mana region.
I mean, personally, I have to say that I'm kind of happy to see that we are having Hong Kono again on Diablo. I enjoyed the earlier series quite a bit that they played, where we had him a few times on that tank. And his engages, especially on Dragonshire, were super fun to watch. So I expect from him very aggressive play and also a lot of attempted dives for Phoenix in the background.
Speaking of dives, Meriday getting focused down, caught in the route by Deckard, drops the silence, but he's still going to get executed.
I really like how BTG is playing these early games. I mean, we talked about it on Battlefield. I wouldn't be surprised if they're able to get a few more kills through these aggressive rotations. The only thing that I really want to see is them capitalize properly on them so that they actually get and lead. Because, as we said before, the second Immortal on Battlefield of Eternity, if they focus the objective instead of needlessly chasing the opponent and trying to add additional kills to the setup, then I feel they can snowball the game. If they play this a little bit smarter on Volskaya, maybe it's an opportunity for China to take a game of Korea.
I will say, though, that we did catch a very quick glimpse. You can see LLK is already low on hit points. The absolute nightmare that is trying to lane against Yarel as Zeratul. You just have to let her push and then clean up the lane as quick as possible at your buildings, because Yarel will batter you.
12 stacks on the other hand for Locta already, so doing really well. Again, if you're going for Echo of Elements, you want to complete the quest before the first objective spawns, and like the dream. If your opponent can deny that to you, that would be perfect for them, but so far, Locta on Thrall is doing really well. This is up here on the top. On the other hand, turret is being exchanged for the healing pulse. So BlossoM, at least, it comes at a bit of an opportunity cost. They get the early level 4, they get the healing pulse, but they have to drop their turret to get it.
That's not the worst trade-off, of course. The biotic emitter is incredibly effective, but that turret is a great zoning tool for BTG, so it's going to be who can gain initial positioning.
And also something that we have seen already in previous games, especially against Diablo, it's catering to something that Zish has talked about, is that there's very little that can be done on the side of BTG early on to take down Diablo. And what we see on level 4 now for Thrall is the Frostwolf Pact. So going into the stacking here and trying to make sure that with 16 later on they can pressure Diablo through Alpha Wolf in addition to the remaining heroes.
If we go for that, because we've called that several times and the teams have kind of avoided it several times as well.
Not with that level 4 time.
Not with that level 4, which we are excited to see. As we do also see one good spread, very standard here for the Stukov. A little bit of extra pressure there, a little bit of extra healing there as well, sorry. As we see BlossoM, they will take the initial position, which is going to be very helpful as they don't want to get outplayed by the turret.
Perfect timing also on Thrall. Echo of Elements is completed, and now he has a chance to make a play, but LLK goes down. Literally pushed into a corner and taken apart. Thrall is still finding value top lane though. Nobody's really taking care of it. The rotation is now slowly coming in, but he was able to put pressure onto the turret. And no one is going up there, so it's just BTG with a bit of a trade. Finally, Li Ming starting to make a move up top.
With that, though, Zeratul is alive, only 37% on the objective, and BTG, they will actually be able to make a play. Right now, it's all about 619, trying to soak level 7, but Wiz is just battering him around. Luckily, it's Muradin, so he will be able to regen up very quickly.
Yeah, but now you have to really decide, okay, do we want to make a play for the objective? Because we already see BlossoM with nearly 80% on the progress bar, and this is usually when you try and rotate and make your move, especially with level 7 that just comes in now. The Ancestral Wrap is fantastic for Thrall. So here comes BTG trying to make their move, dropping the turret immediately and trying to go for the root here. So far, job well done, but the silence is in as Mariday with Stukov drops the lurking arm.
There's the dive onto Thrall, looking for the counter. 619 wraps in from behind there, outside the biotic emitter here as Logdar is dropped so low, but the heals from Deckard keep him alive as they pick up Stukov, but leaving just short.
Logdar just barely surviving.
99.
He's at 5 stacks right now. He's about to complete his talent. If he can land another Frostwolf when they're starting to go in, very likely could complete that. Going for Diablo here, completes the quest. Can they maybe even get more and get the kill here?
They're looking for Wiz. They are able to root him down. There's the damage. Zeratul dives deep for Gondar. He grabs the fountain. Gondar survives. And Phoenix will be the one to fall in exchange for that Yarel.
99% against the slowly upticking objective for BTG, but with the death of Phoenix, they are now again in a bit of a precarious situation. If they could have gotten the kill not only against Yarel, but maybe against Hanzo, this might be a different situation. But as is, BlossoM is taking control again and will get that first protector.
That's going to be able to put some good pressure onto these lanes. Once again, these protectors do monumental amounts of damage. As we see, mid lane is the target. Zeratul, though, split pushing. Going to try and get something done before Yarel arrives. Some little bit of extra front wall damage. But this protector already taking down both towers.
Doing the damage and starting the rotation to the top lane to prep for objective number 2. Trying to drop the fountain is normally what you're aiming for here.
They are going very deep here. Loctar eats a fair amount of damage, but he is alive for the moment. 619 also trying to poke in as best as he can as well.
I mean, they get some damage done, but they're not too far ahead in experience just yet. Of course, the turrets are going to change that slowly. It's all about the fountain here now, and that's something that you can't deny to BlossoM. BlossoM will take that down. That helps with the next objective. Question always remains, can you save your fort? And to be fair, at this point, it doesn't really look likely. BlossoM makes the move, and BTG can't hold on to it.
Root just short of landing onto Locktar. As he turns back around, he's a little bit low on mana, but he's still looking to maybe try and make a play. Quick stun onto Honkono. Dragon Arrow. The Lightning Breath is not landing, but Modern is landing everything. But Healer Piece able to sneak away.
It's another one of these moves where you just have to question what is BTG doing. They fall back as the fort is being attacked. That's the moment where you could have argued they could have tried to make a little bit more of a stand. But once that their opponent has dropped the fort and hits level 10, they actually start to engage into the fight without heroic abilities and nothing to fight for. The fort is already down. You can't protect it anymore. So going into that fight was absolutely pointless, and they get punished for making the attempt.
With that, it is a level and a bit lead for BlossoM, but BTG, now with everyone alive after that unfortunate fight there, they finally have everyone with their level 10s. We are going to see an Earthquake, no sneaky Thunderings this time, going to set up for that Purification Salvo. Deckard, though, preparing to maybe flex his heroic, depending on what he feels is right.
Yeah, you can go for some interrupt here for sure, but there it is once again. I mean, right now it's about objective number 2, and that's also where level 13 talent's going to become very important. So you have to try and soak on the lanes. Losing those extra heroes against BlossoM is a bit of an issue, because at this point already you're starting to pick up more experience through that too. So BlossoM will have an easier time hitting their level 13. But it's still level 10 versus 10, so you might even be able to get a fight over, let's say, another healing pulse later on.
Right now, with the Healing Pulse on Merry Day, already in a turret on Gondar, the item game for BlossoM is working very, very well. Rotating around, quick poke by LLK because he can.
Killed up by Merry Day again, but here comes the more rotation of the bot lane, trying to snipe a few more turrets. Important here to get that early level 13, which is exactly what they want. The counter rotation of BTG to stop that onslaught. Turret being dropped. Okay, committing to some items here.
Roll is coming in from above. Like you said, it looks like BTG might want to try and make a pre-13 players. LOK moves forward. Muradin dives onto Honkono. Nice stun onto Wiz, preventing the jump as Honkono is dropped low. There's the VP. Stay a while and listen.
They're trying to go for him, but this original Stormbolt missed. If they can get that, then it's over. Salvo attempt, and Diablo barely alive. Zeratul has fallen, though. Honkono just moving away from this. So many opportunities for BTG to take him down, but individual skills missed, and that allows Diablo to self-sustain himself through all of it with the help of Stukov and survive.
That lack of slow and the heal from Stukov, like you said, keeping Honkono alive. Really clutch play, and it looked okay, that setup. Half the team VP'd, half slept, but they were unable to really choose the targets.
If the initial Stormbolt hits, he's dead.
Absolutely.
But the Stormbolt misses, the Wolf on Thrall connects then afterwards. But that was such a clutch move there. And if he gets the CC chain set up a little bit earlier, and they can weave in 2-3 more auto attacks, and it's lights out for Diablo, and we're talking a very different game. But as it stands, BlossoM has the early level 13 talent. They take easy control of their control point. But BTG with a good rotation down to the bot lane, where they're trying to drop some structure so they can grab that talent for themselves and then fight for the second protector. This is the best chance that they have.
Classic move. We can't fight you, so we'll fight as far away from you as possible. They begin to burn down that fort, looking for that level 13. Zeratul soaks mid for even more experience, as BlossoM decide to gain their own advantage, get those extra damage from that mercenary camp to push in the lane where they're just potentially about to have the protector, so that if they are able to pick someone off before, once that protector is online, they can maybe go for a keep.
Yeah, it's all about the 13 right now, but already they're seeing that there's also the healing pulse taken. Don't take that fight, just give it up. You can't fight yet. Now we have 13, and now it's party time. Healing static is in play for Muradin. It gives him the sustain. Arrow comes through against Thrall. Nice Stormbolt against Diablo to stop him, but the fight's not over yet.
Locktar drops the Earthquake. That might keep him alive, and he's able to pull back. Salvo comes out. It's denied by the Void Prison, as Wiz is dropped low, though. 619, they still get the double kill.
Nice move here. Down they go. Diablo and Urel, a powerful double kill here. Good setup with the Void Prison, but here comes still the Protector, and they are just barely keeping Muradin alive for now. And BlossoM is still fighting the projector with the damage and the kill.
Remember what we were saying earlier about which hero has a lack of mobility? Turns out the Protector can chase that down. Root!
Why?
That was not good.
Why?
Why? That was not good. They were able to take down the Decade Cane, then take down the Muradin, take down the Zeratul. Yep! With the suplex. Honkono's got pretty deep. He might actually pay for this. Protector comes in to try and save him. Where's the shield? Not online. And down goes Honkono and does just escapes the Protector.
Can you bring me a wall so I can bash my head against it? They get the kill against Diablo, that's something, but they start all of this with 2 kills against BlossoM.
Yeah.
And they still fall quite a bit behind, and they are about to lose now the 4 down here in the middle too. I feel that could have been so much better for BTG, especially when we're looking towards the death of Muradin. You were in a decent spot, but you tapping the fountain does not all of a sudden magically increase your hit points instantaneously. You still need to wait. It's still a heal over time.
We do see BlossoM once again. They're starting to regen all of their items, gathering all of that extra power for the next objective phase as they have taken control of every single Protector so far.
I'm pretty happy with how BTG is taking a lot of these fights, but I would really like if after a fight, as we've seen in game number 1, they would make smarter choices. But they got a good fight at the top. They are not as far behind as they potentially could be. It's 1 level difference, and they're closing in on a level 16 talent, and that's where I would expect Alpha Wolf to now come out. And they already threaten Diablo with a lot of these plays. Once that they have that, and also, of course, Deca, that's really the moment when you can say, okay, this is where we are dangerous now. Now, Honkono in particular has to be very, very careful.
Minion Wave just gets wiped by the explosive arrow as Wiz arrives for the rest of his team, so that if there is a fight, he can once again apply that armor. And 16 is acquired by BTG, so they're at least on even talents again, but still a full level behind. They are trying to control this bottom area, though, until that Mercenary camp pushes up top lane so that they can clear it safely.
Alright, Alpha Wolf is in play for Thrall, so together with the level 4 cooldown reduction after the quest is completed, they have now pretty decent chances here to burn someone down, and that's what they need to try and do. Get that Wind Fury in after, work in these auto attacks, and really get that extra percentage damage. And Honkono is far out, and there's already the attempt. They're rooting him down, but the attempted kill against Muradin. Avatar's being used, Li Ming is down, and that's the play. Mariday falls as well. It's a double kill. Thrall falls, but the fight's not over by long shot.
Wiz is popping off. Gondar escapes. Wiz goes down. Gondar is so low here. Quick stun from Honkono will give Gondar the opportunity to escape, unless LOK can track him down. Dun 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 dun. Oh, got him! LOK picks up the kill, making it a quad.
Got him. Down he goes. 2 for 4, and yeah. I mean, a lot of this really started with the initiation that we had from Thrall. And of course, the attempt to go for Muradin, but once he's out of the silence, he can pop Avatar, is still alive, jumps into the back line and cuts their path of retreat off. And all of a sudden, BTG is in this. And we've seen China talk about, hey, we want to win at least the map here. They're on a good way.
Yeah, right now they are on just short of even experience. BlossoM still a little bit ahead, but they're soaking lanes. Muradin is in bot. Phoenix clears out top. They're going to be able to soak mid pretty soon if Diablo pushes that up at all. And they're even going to be able to get that turret once again to get some control over bot lane. Muradin not choosing to get the quick percentage. He would much rather wait for his team. He's going to try, but he's going to be in the safe position as he can.
Now they have the healing pulse, and this is really a slight advantage for them in the item game. Their heroic abilities are also about to be back on all sides, whereas Urel still has to wait a couple of seconds here. So this is an opportunity once again to look for one of these kills already. We're having them sniff out Urel down here. Same is true for Muradin.
Zeratul's grabbed an extra lane worth of experience in mid lane. He's wrapping around from above.
He actually looks for Hanzo here, but there comes the move. They're going for the stun against Urel. Thrall trying to follow it up, not quite yet. Stun comes in, Zeratul still waiting for a chance, and now that LLK is with them, decided to not flank in from behind, and now have an opportunity to take the control of the spot, which is exactly what they need.
Firestorm reveals LLK. He moves back, wants to re-stealth. He's going to help clean out the minion wave for the moment. Both these teams approaching level 19, which if a team wins this fight convincingly, they will get potentially a Protector and level 20.
There's also a top lane camp that adds some value for BTG, but the fight down here is of course the center of attention for both of the teams right now. The Wolf misses, cooldown is low, here comes the engage. Diablo goes in as the Wolf is on cooldown and drops the Lightning Breath immediately. Here comes the salvo already by dancing, but Zeratul falls first.
Don Kodo drops so low, gets the armor from Yrel as 619 tries to do something, but it's already a triple kill. 619 cannot do this, and Locktar goes down as well. That's going to be, as we said, 20. Protector and potentially keeps in core.
Oh, that is really disheartening for BTG. And it all started really with Thrall throwing out a Frostwolf. It misses Diablo, and Onkono says, well, you are one of the main damage dealers against me right now. Your combo with the Alpha Wolf and the auto attacks and you locking me down and just setting up a CC chain is a huge threat. You just missed your CC, I'm gonna go in. And that's exactly what he did, and that's what started this entire massacre that we have seen at the bottom objective. And now they're already opening up the wall. This is BlossoM preparing to end the game.
14 seconds until the latest hero of BTG, that is Thrall. Everyone else is going to pop back. They still have Void Prison, so they can potentially delay that Protector at least a little bit, either by dropping it on their own core, or by dropping it on the Protector itself to try and fight the people outside it, as Li Ming is already bringing it over to the rest of the team.
Yeah, and now we're talking level 20, Storm Talons are in there, the keep is gone, and they are just moving towards the core. That would be a miracle defense if BTG is actually able to save this.
Good dodges. He dodges all the CCs, able to pull himself back, gets a little bit of extra healing as they turn the damage onto Wiz. The Protector already on the core as Honkodo goes deep. Locktar gets crispy.
Yeah, he gets fired in the ground, so that's him gone, and in the backline the same is happening again, but the core is already falling too. The salvo comes through, stay a while, listen, down goes Stuko, but who really cares? Actually, trying to go in for the kill here, but that Protector, oh boy, takes down Phoenix.
Why is it called a Protector? It's not protecting at all, it's murdering as it moves forward, looks for the damage onto 619. He's able to jump away, but the core is dropping.
The murderer is going for the core right now and starting to eliminate it. But actually at this point, they are not really happy with only taking the core down. They want 619 as well. He's escaping barely though, as Wiz is already trying to jump after him.
That's going to be GG 2-0 in favor of BlossoM in this best of 5.
BlossoM looking decent. I mean, again, having a couple of moments where they want it too much, where they get too greedy and don't have the patience. But in a lot of these team fights, they've been looking good. They got a lot of kills, 18-11 in the end. Especially once that Thrall hit level 16, he did a lot of damage to Diablo, but it's that one Wolf that missed towards the end that allowed Honkono to jump in unpunished.
We saw that a fair amount where Locktar was the person who was engaged on a fair amount. He is Thrall. He does have a reasonable amount of sustain, but compared to Muradin, compared to the Phoenix, he does not have that kind of escape.
Yeah, I mean, he was definitely struggling, you know, especially towards the end game. But I mean, it's another game where I feel like BTG is so close, and they are living and dying by LLK right now, I think. The Zeratul performance, like my Evan game 1, was very, very strong. Some great Void Prisons, finding and turning these fights for BTG against all odds even. But, you know, a big misplay again on the boss shrine from him led to their demise as well. So it's like, I'm really looking at LLK in all of these fights and seeing what he can pull off. But these moments where, you know, the misplays are coming out, it's just where BTG is faltering.